Hi, it's Kata. I'm missing the thumb. Oh well, I'm pretty sure this will still do the job. Continuing my spooky season series of Barbie as characters from spooky movies, today's theme is Barbie as the first girl. Last week or so, I did a video which focused on Barbie as the final girl, which is a popular trope in horror movies, meaning the last girl to confront and survive a murderous villain. I featured Laurie Strode from Halloween, Sidney Prescott from Scream, Nancy Thompson from A Nightmare on Elm Street, Ellen Ripley from Aliens, and Tree Geldman from Happy Death Day. So, with the definition of final girl as the last girl to survive a killer, can you guess what the definition is of the first girl? Of course you can! She's the first girl in a horror film to not survive. So from those same films, in my Final Girl video, I've dressed Barbie as the first girl from each of those movies, including one extra bonus surprise. Also, a forewarning. Here be spoilers. So I've put timestamps down below in case you would like to skip past any of these movies that you have not seen. So, shall we begin? The first girl is Lynda Klock from 1978's Halloween. Lynda's not exactly the first girl in Halloween. I mean, if you want to get technical about it, it's Michael Myers' sister who's the first girl in Halloween. But Lynda was the first of the main characters, the friends of Laurie Strode, who gets murdered because she was a naughty girl who had sex and smoked weed. Yeah, those were the rules back then in 70s and 80s and probably earlier horror films, is that you were not supposed to be promiscuous or drink alcohol or do drugs. Otherwise, you were doomed to die. The movie Scream reminds us of that very well.
Number one, you can never have sex. Big no-no! Sex equals death, okay? Number two, you can never drink or do drugs.
They also added another rule. Never say,
"I'll be right back."
So I'm pretty sure that Lynda broke all of those rules. The character of Lynda was played by actress PJ Soles, who was in a couple of horror movies. Halloween, of course. She was also in Carrie. And she also played what's-her-name in Rock and Roll High School, the Ramones movie. This is actually a holiday Barbie. And normally, I don't like smiling dolls for my horror movie characters. But Lynda was smiling throughout that movie. You know. I love how Lynda wore pigtails with these little like ties in them to kind of portray some sort of like high school innocence, which, yeah, she wasn't. She also had a book bag with a number of books in them, but I just gave her one. The belt, the jeans. I found these really great 70s heels. I think these actually belong to my David Bowie doll, so perfect era. Yeah, Lynda turned out pretty good. I love her character. Next, we have the quintessential first girl, Casey Becker from 1996's Scream. Casey is probably one of the most famous first girls. because it was rather shocking and very outside of the horror film structure when Scream opens with megastar Drew Barrymore, and as a viewer you're thinking, oh, she's in this. But nope. Drew's character is killed 15 minutes into the movie. Surprise! She's not going to be the final girl. It honestly was a bit of brilliance by Wes Craven, because if he had cast an unknown actor, it'd be just another first girl. But the fact that he cast an A-list actor who is usually a main character in a movie, it was that much more shocking when she dies immediately. You did not expect that. In fact, my bonus surprise character at the end of this video is the first time that something similar like that was done. And in its day, it was just as shocking. So stay tuned. This is the Stormtrooper Barbie, and while her hair is nearly perfect for that long bob with bangs that Drew had, there is some blue in the back of it, which I absolutely love, but pretend you don't see that. Just, it's not there. It's just a nice, long, blonde bob. Also, the sweater is kind of perfect, except that it has this belt. It's actually kind of a longer sort of sweater dress, but I rolled it up and I did not want to cut the belt off. So I kind of masked the belt a little bit with Casey holding the phone, which also should be a wireless phone, but she does actually use a handful of phones in the movie, so it's okay that this was a landline. These were the lightest blue sort of stonewashed jeans that I could find in my own Barbie wardrobe collection, so we went with it. And then, of course, good plain old-fashioned tennis shoes for running your ass off. You're not going to get out of it, Casey. Sorry. My husband goes, are you going to put blood all over the front of that? I thought about it. But this is actually a really cool vintage Barbie article of clothing that I did not want to ruin, even with fake blood that may or may not come out. So, this is Casey right before she's about to die. Boy, that's dark. Oh, one last thing. This Barbie does actually have quite a bit of makeup on, sort of striking, almost Susie Sue eye makeup, but we let her go with it. It's the last night of her life. She needs to look good. For our next first girl, we have Tina Gray from 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Tina. She is such a cool character, and she too was a main character, so you kind of think you're going to be following Tina throughout the movie, but in classic Wes Craven fashion, surprise! Tina dies. But she doesn't go away. She stays around to kind of haunt Nancy in disturbing ways. In fact, I considered dressing Tina in some of the other very interesting costumes that Tina has, like the body bag, or Tina as sort of the subtle figure of the Madonna. That scene was so eerie and cool. Tina was played by the actress Amanda Weiss, and I think I got this Barbie down pretty good for Tina. And technically, this isn't Barbie. This is an Integrity Candy doll. Her hair originally came in an updo, but I'm a hair taker downer for dolls. So when I took it down, it was a little bit longer than needed for the character of Tina. So I did go ahead and prop it up as best I could, and I think it fits her so perfectly. Tina actually had several costumes to choose from, and I kind of wanted to put her in the one that she dies in, because Tina has sex, and so she's in, I think, like her boyfriend's sort of white button-down shirt and underwear, but I really liked this vintage Barbie nightgown that's sort of translucent, which is really reminiscent to the opening scene of Nightmare on Elm Street, where, nope, it's not our final girl, it's Tina being stalked by the killer. That costume was white, But I feel like this very flowy two-piece nightgown fits that scene pretty well. And then I do believe Tina was wearing just flats in that scene. And I don't know if you can see on camera, but for some reason there's like streaks on this doll's legs. I'm not sure why. But since they're sort of reddish in color, they almost look like scratches, which is really perfect for the character of Tina being stalked by Freddy Krueger. And I'm really glad they kept her in the movie, even though she was dead. Next, we have Private Vasquez from the 1986 movie Aliens. Vasquez was played by Jeanette Goldstein, and technically, Vasquez was not the first girl. There was the pilot. Was there another female? Well, anyway, Vasquez was almost one of the final girls, but in the end, when she saw no way out, she sacrificed herself and saved the whole rest of the team by holding on to a hand grenade. I mostly wanted to do Vasquez because, first of all, cool character. Second of all, this is the perfect Barbie. This is a fashionista Barbie, and she came hairless. So I actually dusted the top of her head with brown eyeshadow to give her a buzz cut. And of course, the bandana makes it. Vasquez also did wear a crucifix necklace and dog tags, and I didn't exactly have dog tags, but this necklace is a paw print. Dog tags, get it? So we just have her wear that backwards. Obviously, she wouldn't be showing her midriff. Well, maybe she would. I mean, she was kind of badass. Like, she had the muscles. And she was proud of it. So maybe she would. But in the movie, Vasquez had more clothes than this. But this is the closest top that I could get. Having the cargo pants was pretty cool. And of course, I didn't really have combat boots that fit her so well. So she's just wearing these like high black boots, which works. Of course, the fingerless gloves, I made those. Those turned out pretty good. I don't love that Vasquez has guns on her. And then, of course, you know, Vasquez actually had a really big gun. But this was as close as I could get. I think these were my husband's stormtrooper guns. But, you know, that was the character of Vasquez. So it fits perfectly. Next, we have Laurie Spengler from 2017's Happy Death Day. Laurie is played by Ruby Modine, and this is actually the more complicated one of this series because Happy Death Day doesn't follow the traditional slasher film formula. In fact, I was trying to think who else besides Tree dies. I mean, Tree is actually both first girl and final girl. But since I'm mirroring movies that I did my Final Girl video about, I had to pick a character for Happy Death Day, and that would be Laurie, because she dies. But she's also the killer, so...
What?
See, I told you it was complicated. And I'm just talking about the first movie, not the sequel, because that changes. Different dimension. But this doll is perfect. Look at that face. She looks like Laurie Spengler, which I'm thinking Spengler, like from Ghostbusters. Do you think that's where they got the character's name? Like an homage to Egon Spengler? Yeah, I bet it was. This doll is another Integrity Candy doll, and yeah, she has the perfect hair. Lori did wear her hair like this in a high pony, but the rest of the hair that hung down was kind of curled in a long twist, so this was as close as I could get that. Lori wore scrubs all the time, so this doll has some scrub-like clothes. This top was actually a jacket. That's why you can kind of see a safety pin closure in it. And plus this doll is rather busty, so it was like kind of a tight closure. Lori also had, I feel like it was gray arm warmers underneath her scrub top because you don't see a collar or anything like that. So I did have some arm warmers that were blue with stripes, so close enough. And of course, if you're working in a hospital, you're going to be wearing comfy shoes. So she turned out pretty well, and of course, what makes it is the cupcake. Happy birthday, Tree. Tree, don't eat the cupcake. Warning, warning. So yeah, not exactly a first goal, but really the only other one to die? Right? If I'm wrong, please let me know about that. And I'm talking just about the first Happy Death Day. Yeah. What other girl dies in that movie? I don't think any other girl does. So, Lori Spengler it is. So those 5 dolls were the companion first girl characters to the movies in which I featured the final girl characters in another video. But I have one more bonus character, and that is Marion Crane from 1960's Psycho. Marion Crane, played by Janet Leigh, is one of the most classic shockers in cinema history. Marion is literally the main character. You're following along in her devious deeds, and halfway through the movie, boom, killed by Norman Bates. Surprise! Marion is not the final girl after all. She does not escape with her life. Huge shocker when it came out in 1960. Marion is a first girl. Does Norman Bates kill other girls, though? Maybe prior to this story. But for this story, Marion is the first girl. The final girl is actually her sister, Lila. Well, that's debatable, because she ends up surviving through a savior male, which, in my opinion, a final girl is one who defeats the killer on her own. Marion Crane? Wow, what a shocker. And not only that, but Janet Leigh is the mother of one of the all-time best scream queens, Jamie Lee Curtis. And they actually appeared in a future Halloween movie together, which was really fun. So this doll is a reproduction Bubble Cup Barbie, and look at how perfect. She's got that classic 1960s hair, even the look of sort of deviousness. That's fitting for Marion Crane, who steals $40,000 from her employer and takes off. Her handbag has the envelope with some money in it. I didn't really have tiny dollars, so just pretend that that's money in there. The character had like a sweater set with like a button down, so I just put this one on backwards with the perfect skirt, all tucked in neatly with a belt and nice demure white pumps. Yeah, Janet Leigh looked like a Barbie from that day. Classic. Well, thanks so much for coming along with me today as we celebrated some of the greatest first girls in horror cinema history. Which one do you think that I got right on? Did I do good with these? Yeah, I think I kind of did this time. Are there any first girls I missed? And let me know, what are your favorite horror movies? Or if you don't like horror, what's like the next level of scary movie that you like? And are you having a good spooky season? I sure hope you are. Thanks so much for being here. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Wendy? Yes, Lisa. Is the water warm enough? Yes, Lisa. Shall we begin? Yes, Lisa. What's his name? Freddie. Duh. What was his first name? Can you guess? Well, you probably can't because you've seen the title of this video.